Hey, Being at Work listeners, welcome back to another episode. You know, this is a show where we explore what it means to show up fully human in the workplace. So I know today's conversation is directly aligned with that, and I'm so grateful to bring this conversation to you all. I'm your host, Andrea Butcher, and today's episode is all about being your strengths, not just knowing them, but truly living them at work and in life. After all, we all are leading our lives. So we'll talk about how our strengths play out in all aspects of our lives. My guest today is Dr. Jeff Williamson, executive coach, author, professor, and certified Gallup Strengths coach. And you will hear it in his voice. Jeff is a maximizer through and through. He thrives on helping people recognize and grow what is best in them. And he believes we are most alive and most effective when we lead with our natural strengths. So this isn't going to be a surface level Strengths Finder recap. We're going deeper. What does it actually look like to use your strengths day to day in decisions, in conflict, in career choices, and even in burnout? So let's dig in. Dr. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I've been so much looking forward to this conversation, and I can't wait to jump in.
Yeah, right back at you. So let's do that, because strengths have been around for a bit. You know, Strengths Finder now, and I think Clifton Strengths, did a rebrand, right?
Yeah, they actually, I think, rolled it out publicly about 98 or so. So it's 20 plus years now, 25 plus years. And after Dr. Clifton passed away a few years ago, in honor of him who created the Strengths Finder, they renamed it to Clifton Strengths. But it's the same assessment, the same intentions and outcomes.
Yeah, same 34 strength themes.
Right.
You take an assessment, you get your top 5 strength themes. And, you know, why is just knowing your strengths not enough?
That's always one of the things that I talk about when I do a first-time training with an individual or a group, is that I often say we're one of the most assessed generations in history. I think probably the most assessed. And I love that because I love all the data and those kind of things. But it's also easy to go, oh, great, that's my top 5. Isn't that nice? What's next? And I think mistakenly we can put that into that bucket of, oh, I've taken so many assessments. Aren't they all about the same? Is it a personality test? Is it a work thing? And so I think people will get stuck there and just go, oh, yeah, kind of like, I got my bracelet, you know what? So when people will say, oh, yeah, I took that, I'll say, what's your top 5? They struggle. So that's one of the things where I think it's a mistake, is they think, well, I have my top 5. I have it somewhere on my phone if I ever need it. And they just don't. They don't commit it to memory. That's always a first challenge. You got to commit it to memory. We talk about toolkits and, you know, how can you use the right tool if you don't know where it is? And so that's something that can sometimes go wrong, is that I take the assessment, maybe I get training, maybe I don't. And then I just kind of put it back on my shelf and go, yeah, anyway, I'm me. And they don't pursue a level of mastery that I think is really important.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say they think, oh, that's just me. Mm-hmm. So it's something that comes naturally, so they may never have thought of it as a strength. Yeah. Why do we dismiss that or undervalue that?
I think for those things, like you said, our core strengths are so hardwired into our DNA, if you will, that we just wrongly assume everybody knows that, everybody can do that. And doesn't everybody think strategically? Doesn't everybody value the learning process like a learner does? And yeah, I think it was during the last 20 years probably when I really started working a lot with Gallup and Strengths that I started to go, everybody doesn't think like I do. Everybody doesn't have the same toolkit that I do And that's why some things are just kind of second nature to me, but they're not to everybody because they have a completely different set that I don't possess. And when we
Hmm.
think about that and embrace that, then it's like, whoa, we all need those different things that, Andrea brings a completely different energy and excitement and toolkit that I don't have. I love her strengths, but I don't have the same ones. We do have some the same point, but it just jazzes me so much to help people see that beauty of their unique mix of strengths. And I think that's partly why they go, oh, really no big deal. I mean, it's just me being me, right? Well, yeah, it's you being you, but it's because you've been gifted in that specific way.
Yeah. And I like that you call it a unique mix because isn't it like 1 in 33 million?
Oh, you're good. You remember that? Yes. Gallup did the numbers a few years back on the likelihood of someone else having your top five in the exact same order. And those
Yeah.
were the odds 1 in 33 million.
That's crazy. So it really gets at your uniqueness.
Yeah, it's like I often say, we grow up good, affirming parents and coaches and teachers saying, you're 1 in 1 million. There's nobody like you. I'm like, actually, it's way more than that. It's 33 million, which makes it even better, right? So,
Yeah. What are
yeah.
your top five?
My number one is maximizer. Number two is strategic. Number three is learner. Number four is individualization. Number five is discipline.
Wow. Maximizer, strategic, learner, individualization. And what's the last one?
Discipline? Yeah.
Discipline.
Yeah.
So you talked about the unique mix. Use yourself as an example. How does that combination play out? Because I suspect like if you had maximizer followed by developer or followed by competition, it would look different than
Probably so.
maximizer with strategic and learner.
Yeah. For me, it's a wonderful domino effect because with Maximizer being my number one, in short, to borrow words from Jim Collins, I love helping people go from good to great. I love helping
Yeah.
teams go from good to great. The way that I often describe it sometimes is that you probably have a gear of excellence or a gear of effectiveness you don't even know you have yet. And when I can help people find that and then live in that, that's just like rocket fuel to me. So when you
Yeah.
pair that with strategic, then I start thinking about things like, okay, you have another whole gear of excellence, not just for performance sake, but for joy's sake. You have a whole nother gear of excellence. And so then my strategic comes in to go, here's some ways we could develop that. Here's some ways we could bring that out of you even more. And then it kicks in learner because I love the learning process. I've been a teacher for many years. So those just that's a kind of that fun domino that those all get activated along the way and coming up with ways to help a client or a team even be better than they are, to be really great.
Yeah, it's almost like they're reinforcers for each other.
Yeah.
It's interesting because Maximizer is in my top five also, but it does
Hmm.
play out very differently. Yeah, and I see the domino effect. So maybe I'll just share my top five with you if you're okay with that, and you can.
I'm okay with that. I was hoping you would. Oh,
I wish our audience could see your face. He just lit up. You are such a coach at heart. Okay, positivity. And so, Jeff, I've taken the Strengths Finder assessment probably, I don't know, 50 times in the last.
seriously?
Oh, yeah, so many times.
Oh my gosh, that may be a new record.
So I went through the Strengths Finder certification. I mean, way back when. It was early. It might have been like 2002. So
Wow.
I've not done the re-up.
Yeah.
I really need to do that, but
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as deep in the tool. But so positivity, every single time I've ever taken it has always been my number one strength.
I love that. I love
Positivity maximizer is my second. Woo, winning others over
Yep.
for our audience that doesn't
Yep.
know what that means. Developer, I mean, is that not like a facilitator, coach? Positivity maximizer,
you.
woo developer, and achiever. So I have a question, but I'm going to withhold the question because I
Okay.
have a question about a strength theme that has shown up so many times, but it didn't most recently. I just probably, when was it? Maybe 3 months ago I did it. And these were the 5 that emerged.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So why, maybe let's start with that. Why, I suspect every time I've done it, those 5 have been in my top 10, but it's not always the same 5. Positivity has always been there. Woo has always been there. But why does it shift a bit?
A little variation sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, positivity and woo, those are clearly foundational strengths for you. And that's why they keep coming through every single time. And you made a good point that really, the top 5 is a level that you can purchase when you take the assessment, but really that first 10 is huge for us. And so a lot of times when there'll be a retake and one will pop up that wasn't in my top 5 the first time, they're probably a 6, 7, 8, 9 or something like that. And I think here is the other thing that will tend to pull them upward. If we have been, some of it, I'll say it's like we'd had to use a certain muscle more in the last few years, or in in a new role or new job in the last year. So that's 6, 7, 8. We needed that muscle more, and so we developed it. And that's at the heart of the strengths approach: is your strengths grow exponentially faster than if I went, well, I want to go down and make my 34 a top 10. Probably not going to happen, right? It's just we can't change everything about ourselves and fool the instrument. So
it's a good point, though. It's like, yeah, just like so Thursday's arm days for me. So on Thursdays, I got a little bit of a pump going on here. So I guess it's kind of like that. Like it's interesting. Futuristic was the strength that has shown up for me so many times that did not most recently.
Yeah.
But as I'm listening to you, I mean, I think about the last few months, I'm heavy in delivery right now. I'm growing my consulting business. So I'm doing a lot of the delivery right now. And I've been doing a lot of development of growth experiences, a ton of that. More so than I have been spending time focused on the future. So do you think that's why?
It could be. I think, now, just for the record, I don't get paid anything by saying this, but Gallup has the full 34 available for an upcharge if a person ever wants to do that. My guess would be, based on 20 plus years and a few thousand clients later, that you probably have always had futuristic in your top 10. But with the top 5 report, it's maybe not elevated to that. And yes, you're growing your business. You're thinking about, where do I want this to be in 6 months? Where do I want this to be next year? What could this become? Who could we involve in this? And so you've been having arm day for your futuristic strengths even more than normal, perhaps. So that would be my guess. It's probably been a top 10 for you always. Because if you have that much fun thinking about where could this go and what could this become, because it's in my top 10, but I've just taken it 2 times, believe it or not. But it's never been in my top 5 either time, but it's in my top 30. In my 34, it's in my top 10. And I love thinking future, what could be. And then you pair that with strategic, again, back to the workforce. How do I use this stuff? Well, if you're strong and strategic, get involved in planning things. Get involved in think groups with your team so that you tap into that. You start thinking about the architecture of what could be.
I love that. The architecture of what could be. Yeah.
I like that too. Did I say that?
You did say that. And I'm so glad you did.
Oh, once in a while I stumble onto a good one.
So now that we know your top 5 strengths, your unique mix, I'd love for you to share a story of when you consciously used your strengths. Let's talk about strengths in action.
Yeah. I think for me, the thing that I often relate almost always to people is that strengths is a whole life assessment. So it isn't just like, oh, how do I work? How do I maintain my health? How do I maintain my relationships? It's all of those things. And so for me, one of the things that's really helped me is at number 5, being disciplined. I tap into that a lot on diet and fitness, right? So I'm like, I say things to myself to get your stuff in and get to the gym. I schedule my workouts on my calendar, just like I scheduled our time together. And that means it's a priority. That means it's like I allot that time each week on certain days to do cardio, to do weight, strength training. And so my discipline makes that easier for me because that's a strength.
How does that work? Are you filtering it through? Are you filtering the challenge through your strengths? Are you asking, how do I apply? Like, tell me how you do that.
Yeah. Well, in terms of pairing strengths, I think I pair that discipline of I have to do certain things because I want my
Mm,
life to look like this down the road. But then I put that together with strategic, which is my number two strength. And so I know if I'm strategic and put it on my calendar and set a time in a day and color code it and make sure all that kind of stuff, then I am way more likely to go do it. Because then if someone calls
yes.
me up and says, "Hey, you available at 4 on Wednesday?" And I can honestly say, I've already got something scheduled at that time. Could we look at Thursday?
Yeah.
And so I build that in strategically, but then I execute and do it because I'm decent at the discipline thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I hear you describing there, Jeff, is you're leaning into your natural wiring.
Yep.
What if you weren't? What would the impact be?
If I weren't naturally inclined to, like, say, be strategic in planning that out, or
No. What would the outcome be if you hadn't have leaned into your natural wiring?
hmm, I would probably do less of the things that I say are important to me. Because if I say, "Hey, my health and fitness and nutrition, all those things are really important to me," but if I like discipline's like 34, I'm going to probably talk a good ball game. And I'm going to just have things come up. Going, I'll just skip the work. And the next thing I know, 2 months have gone by and I haven't done anything. I think that might be what it would look like.
So you're more productive, more effective. You also, for you in the example you shared, it helped you clarify what to say yes to and where to say no to things.
It does. It does.
So there's like strengths alignment. Like there is an impact, a real impact of being aligned with your strengths.
Absolutely. And the way I've described it at times, it feels like as time has gone by, I'm more and more comfortable with being who I am
Mm,
and getting away from, well, what should I look like or behave like or act like in this professional role? Well, that was not the best me because I was thinking about other expectations about who I'm supposed to be or what I'm supposed to do. And the most peaceful, satisfying segment of life has been once I realized I'm one in 33 million, and the world
yeah.
needs me to be the most awesome Jeff I can possibly be. And I'm at peace in that. And I haven't always been, but over the recent years, for a lot of reasons, I think I've gotten a lot more settled in that. And
Yeah.
it's a good place to be.
Why do you think? Why have you gotten more settled in your strengths?
Boy, that's a good one. I I think sometimes it's through pain, it's through loss, right? It's through having an opportunity to see yourself through others' eyes, so to speak. And we talked other times is like my parents are gone now, and that was a real process, and that was a long road, right? But they loved me exactly for who I am and was, but I didn't always do that for myself. And so I think just time and life lessons and sometimes some, running into a wall or face planning, so to speak. I think we go, you know what? That didn't go well. And that was partly because I wasn't being the best me there. I was trying to meet someone else's expectations rather than saying, you know what? It's okay to be me.
It's okay to be me.
Mhm.
Well, and now because of the work you do, because of the recognition you've had in your own life, like you see those strengths themes as superpowers.
I do. I really do. And that's part of the fun. As we were talking earlier, that's part of the joy for me is when I see people kind of go, "Oh my gosh, I never thought about that." right. And we're talking about one of their top strengths and things they do. And they'll often say, man, I've always kind of done that, but I never really had a name for it or a term to describe what a developer does or what an individualization does. And so that's part of when they start to own that, to go, I've always done that. I've always been that.
Yeah.
I didn't fully realize it. And then when they do, they just kind of sit up a little straighter and go, I'm a
Yeah.
woo, woo, you know, and you're a
Well,
woo. So yeah.
and you are valuable just because you are.
Right.
There's something really special about, oh my God, because so much of it is that hinders us is this feeling of not being enough.
Oh boy.
So if you can get to a place of
Yeah.
really embracing your
Yeah.
natural gifts and recognizing that
Mhm.
you don't have to try or do anything, you just
Mhm.
are because of them,
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's
Yeah.
like, okay, then maybe I am enough
Yes.
just as I
Yes.
am.
Right.
Maybe positivity and maximizer and woo and developer and achiever, maybe like that unique mix,
That's
it
wonderfully you.
is
Yeah.
wonderfully me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could have called the woo even before I knew you, just watching some of your, some of your socials, some of the things you were a part of, and just your countenance and your presence. It's just like I'm just like, there's a woo girl right there.
Give me a mic. Yeah, give me my moment.
Yeah, I love that. I love being able to say, you're so good in that space and helping people realize that and then receive it, not just realize it and go, I don't know.
When I've taken leaders through this, I often get like, yeah, developers on the list. I don't see that. Like, what? How do you respond to
Yeah,
leaders
yeah,
when they don't see those strength themes in
yeah.
themselves?
Sometimes I will, if it's in a group setting like a work team, I will turn to their co-workers and colleagues and say,
Yeah,
is developer just off for them? And they'll be like, oh no, no, they're totally that, right? I did a training for a nonprofit board a while back, and one of the guys on the board had developer in his top five, and he said, I just don't see it. And everybody else went, are you kidding me? You've been a teacher for 30 years. You've been a coach. You've been an athletic director. Are you kidding? You have developed countless young men and women. And he's like, well, I guess so, right? He
yeah,
just had to have somebody help him. So I will often say, if we're working one on one, I will say to someone, okay, that's fair. Here's what I'd like you to do: go to 5 or 6 people that know you the best, just show them your top five strengths, and then ask them if they see those in you, and just listen and take some notes. Usually they come back because other people will see things in us good that we maybe don't even own yet. And then if somebody said, what's this, positivity, woo,
yeah,
Andrea? I'd go, oh gosh, you have no idea. She's amazing, right? She has all these things. And even if you were still going, I don't know, people who know you best and love you the most that kind of go, are you kidding me? You've always been a woo, even when you didn't know what to call it, right? And so sometimes it's that
right.
ownership of them just going, people who know you say that's totally who you are.
Yeah,
So let's celebrate that. Let's love that.
that's good. So what can our listeners do to be more aligned with their strengths this week?
Yeah.
What are one or two things, even if you've not taken the assessment, like we can all look at those
Sure.
natural gifts and talents that we have, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What are your top two
Mhm.
tips for being more aligned with your strengths?
Yeah. Even if someone hasn't taken the assessment, I think a similar thing to what we were just talking about, you can say to 5, 6 people who know you best, hey, I'm just trying to do some personal growth. And one of the things that I want to embrace is to identify the things that I do really well because I want to spend my time in that space. Not to make me feel good, but just could you tell me, you write it down, text me, whatever. Just tell me some things that from where you sit, I'm I'm really good at that. I really, really embrace that kind of situation, like you said. Give me a mic. just and then let them tell you. It's a similar kind of idea of
Yeah.
those people will go, oh, well, you just have that energy when you enter the room. It's just more joyful, and there's lots of smiling when you're around. I think and they would just tell you those things even without an assessment
Yeah.
that, oh, this is what you do when you show up and
Yeah.
you're your best you. And so that can be a gold mine of just people saying, how long do you have? I got all kinds of things that are great about you. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And then say, thank you very much. I received that.
And then once you've got some clarity around those natural gifts, like how can you align with them? What are things we can do to ensure then that we are living our strengths?
Yeah. It sounds really simple, but every training I do, I challenge every person to commit their top 5 to memory. Because of that idea that if you don't even know whether you have a saw or a hammer or a certain kind of hand tool, how can you go find it if you're not even sure you have it? So I always challenge them, commit your top 5 to memory. And by doing that, they're more top of mind. Always have them visually in front of you. I've had people say, I put it on the dash of my car, I put it on the mirror where I get ready in the morning, I put it on the fridge, or all the above. So they're constantly seeing and having those visual cues that these are the best things about you. And when we do that, then we start seeing ourselves a little differently. And then when I really get excited, is when they start seeing strengths in other people and calling those out and going, the other day you coordinated that event. Oh my gosh, your arrangers were just blowing up in a beautiful way, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the real cool part of it, is when I don't just know mine and know them by name, is when I'm hanging out with Andrea, I can go, that event you guys did in Colorado a while back, that was the bomb, man. That was totally the bomb. Yeah, it was you at your best. And that just helps reaffirm those.
Yeah.
And we love to know when we do really great things. And so it gets it more integrated into our thinking, our approach, just our sensitivity to those strengths moments.
Yeah, that's really great. Recognizing strength in others. Well, and it reinforces your own strengths and those strengths in you as well. What strength are you underutilizing right now?
Of any of them, or my top 5? I think
of your top 5.
Boy, that's a good one. I'm struggling there. I guess I would have to say
Maximizer, strategic learner, individualization, discipline. You gave us the discipline example earlier.
Yeah. I think I've said before in a variety of places that I think individualization is my favorite. Oliver's my number 4. If I'm not utilizing that as much, it's probably because I feel like that's the one that I just do without thinking. And so maybe I'm not being as intentional to ask good questions or to seek out someone for a project or just to know them better. So I suppose it would be that one. I like to think, being a strengths coach, that I really use my strengths well.
It sounds like you do.
Yeah, because I thought, well, learner, semester starts in a few weeks, so I'm all over that, right? My training is going pretty good, so disciplines, so I was thinking through those in my head. You could probably hear the wheels spinning. So
and I think it's a great reflection question for leaders for our listeners. Yeah, is there a strength that I'm underutilizing right now? It's a prompt to ensure that we are aligned and connected and leveraging them to navigate the natural challenges that we all face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also, as you were struggling through that, I was thinking of my 5.
Yeah. I'll throw that one back at you. That's such a good question. Like, okay, what do you think about yours?
I feel good. I do feel like I'm leveraging them.
Terrific.
The first thing I do every morning is, as part of my routine, is I send my friend Kim the top 3 things I'm grateful for today. And I feel like that accomplishes a few of those. I'm also right now, Jeff, because I'm spending so much time coaching, creating growth experiences for leaders, facilitating growth experiences for leaders, I am heavy in maximizer and developer right now.
Big time.
And then I'm like checking a lot of shit off. So the achiever strength.
That's right. Yeah.
I always have a to-do list.
Yeah. Achievers do that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very focused with my time because of that. I know what I need to get done.
Yeah. Achievers also, if they do something that wasn't on their list, they'll often write it down on their list so they can check it off. You ever do that?
Oh, me.
Called it.
Yep. If I've just finished something and I go to my to-do list to check it off and it's not there, I will always write it and check it.
I want credit, man.
100 times. Yeah.
I see it.
Well, this is so good. I mean, you have reminded us that strengths aren't fluff. They are our most powerful tools. They are superpowers. You've reminded us to keep them top of mind, like being able to name them quickly so that we can align with them. You've reminded us to recognize and reinforce the strengths in others that reinforces those strengths within us as well.
Absolutely.
So Dr. Jeff, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Anytime.
And thank you for being such an important maximizer in my life. You are always one to lift up and encourage. And
I hope so.
I see you doing that.
Thank you.
For all of the leaders that you're supporting. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That means a lot to me, Andrea. Thank you.
If our listeners want to connect with you, where can they find you?
My website for my business is Converge Group is www.convergegroup.io. And if they want to hit me a note directly, they can email me at Jeff, Jeff, at convergegroup.io. You can also find me on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. Any of those places, I welcome a chance to chat with anyone and everyone about their growth and their strengths in any ways I can help.
Awesome. Well, here's to being more of your strengths.
Amen.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Let's connect to go a bit deeper. How can I help you? Looking for an executive coach, a facilitator for a team or leader engagement, or a high energy, heartfelt speaker? Learn more and connect with me through our website at abundantempowerment.com. I look forward to co-creating something magical with you.